What's going on, guys? Today's video is a progress update on RockStack. If you don't know what RockStack is, it's basically a SaaS kit for Next.js, Remix, and SvelteKit. I already completed the Remix edition. I will be migrating the remaining routes today on the Next.js edition, which is pretty much 99% completed. And the SvelteKit edition, I'm not sure if I will be able to complete that on the in 7 days, because I already scheduled the launch on Product Hunt, and you actually can go to producthunt.com/products/rockstack and click notify me, so you know you will be able to access the code base if you have a license. You can pre-order the Rockstack for 95% discount. There are 18 remaining seats at $9. After the launch date, which is 7 days from now, it's gonna be $199. So if you're interested in Rockstack, I advise you to get the discount. Otherwise, you will miss it out. And what is this? Oh, I was going to buy some domain names on my name, AlexMTC, because I want to make some videos for Spanish speakers. Because I feel like I can talk about many things that I have experienced in my country, which is Mexico, as a solo founder. But this pretty much is like an addiction at this point. I mean, buying domains and never use them is kind of like a problem. Give me a second, because I need to shut up my dog. Okay, sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the domains that I buy and never use. That actually brings a topic that I wanted to discuss with you, is that this SaaS kit will not guarantee success. I mean, I already have built many boilerplates throughout 5 years, some of them in NetCore and some in SvelteKit, but front-end only, and React on the Create React app, which is a single-page application. And I mean, some of the SaaS applications are still making money to me, like, for example, DataLang, Indexer, and some Mexican software that I built that I don't have on this specific boilerplate, which is called SaaSRock. But I have on my other boilerplates, like delega.com.mx, which is for Mexican businesses to manage compliance documents and so on. But having a strong boilerplate, my point is, does not guarantee success. I mean, you have to put in the hours, the failures, the failed launches, the fail. Because in my case, I'm really bad at marketing, so I need to leverage my abilities, which is I mean, quality code. I mean, good structure on abstractions for other developers. But my main goal as a solo founder is not target indie hackers only. This is like a side hustle that is for me. But my main goal, like, for example, I would really like if one of my SaaS apps, like this one particularly, which is called datalang.io, which is basically uses AI to train your data, like, and your data comes from like your databases or Google Sheets and so on. This is my main goal, building software like this. But anyways, I just want to make a quick disclaimer that having a strong boilerplate does not guarantee success. You have to fail, and a lot. So with that being said, let me show you the progress on the Next.js edition. Just like a quick recap, since the Remix one is already complete and I'm running on this port 3001, the Remix edition, I will go to my dashboard and show you what is the boilerplate. First, you have, well, I need to log out and show you the marketing pages. Then we're gonna touch the admin pages and then the application pages. The marketing pages are like the landing page, pricing, contact form, the newsletter form, the ability to change languages, dark mode, switch a theme for this is using Tailwind CSS plus ShadCN. And that's pretty much it. I mean, terms and conditions page, and there's a bug on this dark mode title, and privacy policy page, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you could argue that I already have this affiliate program page that if you set, for example, if I go to rockstack.dev affiliate program, since I'm using Rewardful, I can use in my SaaS a link for others to earn money. So this way, it's like a viral loop. So others or my customers are incentivized to share this project and earn from that. So this is basically the marketing side of the application. Now, if I go to the admin side, I have my admin dashboard where I can see some summary cards, the accounts page where I can see the accounts that are registered, the users. And let me show you that I can create a guest admin with password, guest admin. And this will not be a super admin, it will be a guest. And the guest has specific roles. Let me log out and show you. If I go to accounts, for example, I cannot click this new button, but I can see the accounts. I cannot create an, well, I guess I can, but I shouldn't. I need to add that permission checker. And I cannot create roles. Like, for example, you're not authorized to see this page. So that's basically it. I'm gonna log out and log in as my super admin user. And I'm gonna go now to the application side. Like, I can click on this Acme Corp dashboard, and you can see that it's /app/Acme Corp 1 and then the dashboard. This is a fake dashboard. It's actually empty for you to implement, but you have a few things. Like, for example, if I click settings, the user can change the profile, the members, the subscription, and you can go to pricing and you can see that you already own this, and I can upgrade to a higher plan and so on. So this is using Stripe. Stripe is the only third-party coupled provider. Because for email, now I have Postmark and Recent. So you're not tied to Postmark like I currently have on SaaSrock. But Stripe is the only third-party service that you're gonna use, at least as a starting point. Of course, you can add some other things like analytics or anything else that you pay a monthly subscription. So yeah, this is basically the application. So let me show you what I already have for Next.js. So the login should work with my admin email. And you can see that it looks exactly like my Remix application. If I switch tabs, it's exactly the same. So if I click accounts, I should be able to create a new account like Next.js new account. Well, I already created some of them, so I will call this 100, and I will add myself as the owner. And if I go to users, I can also create a user called, let's say, user1.email.com and password user number 1. And this will not be a super admin or a guest admin. I will just create this because later I will add this for the newly created account. So I will go to the application side, and since I belong to many accounts, well, 2, I can choose between the first account or this one that I just created. So I will go there, and since I'm an admin, I can go to settings, go to members. Okay, so I may have a bug here because I added myself as the super admin on this account, but let me debug that. So I'm gonna go to accounts. Okay, so I know what's happening. I need to go to roles and permissions, go to application users, go to this specific account, and I wanna set as a super user myself. So I'm a member, but I didn't select, or I need to go to this page to manually set the role, because when you have many team members, you don't want them to access all accounts. That's a security issue, and it's compliance issues if you end up selling your SaaS application and so on. So I'm gonna go back and refresh my page. Now I should be able to add this user well, for users, since I already have created plans, I need to increase those plans limit. So on the Next.js edition, I will go to settings and go to pricing plans. And you can see this works exactly as my Remix edition. And I'm gonna go to set features. And for the basic, well, I currently don't have a subscription. So what I'm gonna do is delete the users feature, because if there's a users feature, it will check for the limit. And since I don't have a subscription, it will assume that I don't have access to this feature. So I will just remove that, save, go back, and now go refresh and click new. Now I can add this user. And since this is an existing user, it doesn't matter the name that I put here. And I won't send the email here because this is an invalid email. I just want to generate this invitation link. So this link should be shared with that user via email if you set up postmark and resend. But I'm gonna go to incognito tab and click accept and continue, because this is like a quick link to log them in. And yeah, you can see that this user is not an admin. So if I manually go to admin, I have this error. Only admins can access this page. And you can see that pretty much the application is built. So now I will touch on technical details. Like for example, let's check this permission. On the Remix edition, I have this error on the admin loader. But let's check on since on Remix, I have a folder inside admin, it will check first this route, which is the parent route. So no matter what the children route or the child route is, it will check this loader first and it will throw an error. So the difference between Remix and Next, let's check this specific error, is that on Next, the layout parent should be called layout. I mean, the parent route should be a layout file. So you can see that on source, application, and then admin, this is like the /admin. But if I want to have routes inside that /admin, I need to make this a layout, and then all the child routes, I need to pass them on the layout as this props children. And this is an async function, meaning this is a server component that I can load data, like you can see here. And actually, this is another topic that I want to touch, which is I have this admin data layout, and here I specify the admin data context provider. And this is a function that I built on this leaf state. I have three global states. The base state is the root data state. I mean, where you can see if the user, no matter the route, you can see if it's logged in or not. Some base meta tags, the theme on the whole application, the user session, which in the case of Next comes from the cookies, and well, I guess on Remix too, and some other things like whether I'm running on debug mode, and that enables some routes for debugging. And there's another state, which is the one that I'm talking about here, is admin data. Here I load the user, permissions, and whether it's a super user or a super admin. I mean, I don't need this super user actually. I just wanted to know if it's a super admin. So I will actually go to my layout and remove this is user, because you can see it's using exactly the same property. I don't need this super user. That's for the application state. So if I go to use AppDataState, now here I have is super user on the current tenant. So the way I did this on Next is by having these data context providers that I use like this, app data layout. And you can see that for each state, I have a data layout that I use context from React. There should be somewhere inside the context. Where is it? Context. here, AppDataContext.provider, and this is loaded. Let me see on app admin layout. So this comes from the loader, and I tried to make like the most similar possible on the Remix edition. Like for example, I have a loader on the admin side here, because this is the Remix way of loading data, exporting a loader function. But on Next, you don't need to do that. I'm using App Router, if you hadn't noticed. But I'm using this loader. I'm not exposing it because this doesn't expose a resource route. Or in Next.js, I guess it's a route, I think. And you can see that on the component itself, this is an async where I load the loader and pass that admin data that I want to use on child routes on this context. And then I put the children on the sidebar layout with the layout at admin. So that's basically it. I mean, the difference between Remix and Next are mainly on the actions, I will say, like how they handle form submissions. So let me see if I have a pending page. Let me see. I have already the affiliate program, contact page, some forms demo, newsletter. Let me see where I can use some action that I haven't migrated. Because I think the only route that is pending is the Stripe webhooks file. And for that, I actually going to forward some events. I think I have them here. No. So I will actually go to dashboard, Stripe, and go to my webhooks. This is my RockStack earnings in MXN, which is pretty much 80 customers as of now, but I'm gonna use RockStack demo, which is the current one, and go to test mode, go to where is it, developers, and then webhooks, and then add endpoint, and test in a local environment, so I can forward to my URL. I don't have that on Next, so I'm gonna switch to Remix just to show you how it looks. Here it is, Stripe webhooks. So here I have a folder and this file, Stripe webhooks. So I will start this forward. I don't, Ben, and then this should point to API Stripe. Hey, ¿qué pasó, Reading? API/Stripe/webhooks. And okay, so now it's listening. I should be able to use this webhook signing secret that it's used right here. I already said that on my end file. So what I need to do now is trigger an endpoint like this. So let's see the logs. I think it failed. It's trying to access. Okay, so on the Remix edition, I set the port 3001. So it's I cannot update this. So let me copy and redo it right here. 3001. Listen and forward, and then trigger Stripe trigger payment intent succeeded. So let's see the logs on the terminal. Okay, so now it's listening those webhooks, and you can see the events. This is because this is an action, and I'm getting from the headers the Stripe signature, and I'm checking whether I can construct the webhook event. And if I can, I have some specific events on that. Well, but I guess this is not the best example because this is a resource route. But I just wanted to point out that this is basically the last endpoint that I need to migrate to Next. And that's pretty much complete. And then I will move on to the SvelteKit edition. So I guess I could show you the difference between Remix, but I don't want to write from scratch because I already made a video on that. If you want to check them out, it's at remix-gear.vercel app. And here you have form actions. and this is open source. And you can go to the next edition and go to form actions and see the difference between them. I basically use Next.js 15 with use action state, and let me show you how it works. Use action state. Let me pick a specific route. I guess the account form, so the tenant can change the name and the slug, is a good example. So let me go to the remix route on the account, or I guess settings account page, which is on this route. And let's take a look at the difference between the directory structure. First, on remix, you have app inside routes, app.tenant, and this tenant is a variable on the URL, and then settings, and then the account. So this route has basically 3 sections, or 4, which includes the meta. The loader loads the current tenant, verifies the permissions. It's checking this specific permission, like app settings account view, on this specific tenant, and the tenant comes from this get tenant from URL, and on remix it's from the parameters itself, and the parameters comes from the loader function args, like here. And then we have the action, and the action also verifies if the user has permission, and if the action is edit, because we have 2 actions, edit and delete. If it's edit, I'm gonna get from the form the name, the slug, the icon, and then if it's an error, I'm gonna return an error. And I'm getting a call. I hope the video didn't stop there. Let me pause the video. Okay, so I don't think the video paused. If it did, I will be very mad. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so just returning the errors from the action itself, and whenever the slug changes, I redirect to the new slug. If the slug didn't change, I just return success. And then I grab this in a JSON function, which comes from remix round/node. And finally, the last piece, which is the React component. And here I use the data and the action data, and I react to the action data on a toast. And then I have functions for construction the form, for example, for deletion. I manually submit the form like this, which is method post. And here I have my index layout, and then the settings section, and then update details form. And if I go there, this is basically the form, and with this method post, and there should be a button of type submit that submits this. Let me show you the page. I'm gonna go to settings, account. I have basically 2 actions: the name, the slug, and then the deletion of the account. So let me see if that works. 200, account updated, and if I change the slug also, I'm redirected. So on next works. So what's the difference on next? I have split the component into 2 files. One is the page, which is the server component, and one is the client component. You can see the directives here on the client component, and on the server component, I have this directive. So the difference is, first, the metadata is a standalone function, like generate metadata. I need to export that. And I have this custom function that I can pass like title, description, and I construct all other things like the image, and that comes from the default SEO metadata utils. Like here, I have some default values. So if I only override the title, it will only override that. Then we have, well, I guess I deleted the need for the loader. But if I will need a loader, I will do it like this: loader, and then have this async function like this, like return data is, name is Alex. And if I pass that to my client component, I will just pass it like this. And on the client component, I need to receive that data. which is only a name, and I can render that somewhere here, like data.name. So this name comes from the server, but is used on a client component. So now the action, the difference between Remix and Next is that here I set the action app settings account, and then we have a previous state, which you can see that I have put prev and then any, because I'm not using that. Maybe that's not the best practice, but I just get on the second parameter the form, and here I use the form similar to on Remix. The only difference on the actions are, like for example, on Remix, I have this get server, what was it? Load? What was it? Get translations. Yeah, this is a function called get translation, and an async function, and on Remix is get server translations. The second difference is on the actions, and this pretty much surprised me. On the actions, you cannot actually use parameters. I mean variables on the parameters, like I want to use this one, the tenant variable. What I'm doing here is on the middleware, I'm constructing the tenant slug, and I'm finding that with regex. Again, I'm not sure if this is the best practice, but I needed to set that because otherwise I will need to pass the parameters that I need on the form, and I'm almost positive that you can pass that on the previous state, on the state, but I found to be pretty much more convenient to have that on the middleware and then have this function that says require tenant slug. This can only be called inside the app slash the tenant slug routes, because here it will require that header that is set on the middleware. And then I can use that slug to get the tenant ID from that slug, which is a function that goes to the cache and finds it. Otherwise, it revalidates it and then checks the permissions, this is pretty much the same function as in Remix. And yeah, this code is pretty much the same as in Remix. The only difference is when I'm returning things, I'm not wrapping inside a JSON and with a status of, like, for example, 400. I just return a JSON, an object, and you can see that this action returns error or success. And again, if I change this log, I redirect. And one thing that surprised me on Next.js is that you cannot grab redirect functions inside try and catch. So you can see that, where was it? I guess it was on the pricing blog server, where like this. This is an example that this function may fail, but I cannot grab this inside a try catch and then redirect if it's a success and catch the error. I need to check that independently and then later check if it was an error, and then if it didn't throw an error, return the redirect. Otherwise, it will have the error on next called next_redirect. I think that's the error code. But anyway, that's another difference that I remembered. And yeah, how do I use this action? You can see that I'm using that on the client component, and I'm grabbing that inside a use action state where I have action data, the action, and the pending status. So action data, I'm just gonna toast that, and the action is gonna be grabbed inside this is another thing. If I'm using this component in multiple components, and it will need to listen into two different actions, because for this specific case, this tenant form is also on the admin side. So if I go to admin and then click on accounts and click on that specific account overview, you can see that here we have the same form, but on the admin accounts page. And since those need to check different permissions. There need to be different actions. So let me show you. On the admin accounts page, I have also the page, and here I should have, okay, so here it is, the ID of the account, and then the page and the component. And on the page, this action is called action admin account edit. And on the other page, which is the tenant page, is not this action, but this is pretty much the same. You can see that it's updating the name, slug, and icon. And on the accounts, what I do is pass down to the form the server action. And I have done this with the forms that support more than one action. And you can see that I pass this server action and I respect the same names: action data, action, and pending. And on the server action, this is basically an interface that I created where it receives an action data, an action, and a pending status. And yeah, this action, you can see that server action is put on the form HTML tag. I'm not sure what this is called, element, and it should work the same. I mean, and since this action supports two different actions, which is edit and delete, you can see that on the parent route, I know I'm not wrapping the action inside a form element on HTML, but I'm calling, instead of submit, like on Remix, I'm calling the action directly and passing down the form. And this works exactly the same. I mean, let me show you. Here we have, I'm gonna open that on a new tab, and then the Remix edition on another window. You can see that it will work exactly the same. So update to 202, account updated. I'm gonna refresh this page. Well, this is a topic that, since these are two different projects, this Remix project has its own cache. So I need to clear the cache and reload here. So you can see now that it's 202. So if I change to 210, it's now updated. So if I refresh here, since I'm not using cache here, it's 210. So what if I update the icon? So let me invalidate the cache and refresh. So you can see that. And what if I delete the account? So I guess I should do it on the next edition. You can see that it will work, and this will call the function that I showed you here when the confirm delete tenant is called, which this is called after the confirm modal triggers on yes, confirm. It will execute that action and then redirect me to app. And since I already belonged to another tenant, it will redirect me to that tenant. And if I want to create another tenant, I go here and create another tenant. And yeah, I mean, I really love this starter kit. I hope you do too. And if you do, please support it by going to Product Hunt /products/RockStack and click notify me. And yeah, pre-order if you like this. And I said that I was going to go on the SvelteKit edition, but if you're curious, let me show you the progress. It's pretty much 0.1%. So this is running on port 3002, and you can see the progress here. It's empty. I need to do all of these routes, imagine. So I'm not committing to that. So if that's a deal breaker for you, I mean, don't buy or don't pre-order RockStack just yet. Wait, I think 2 months or 3 months. I mean, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, which is actually the weeks that I lost on my vacations, because I thought that I was going to be able to work on my vacation, but yeah. But you will miss out the pre-order discounts, because you will only pay once, and you will get access to the next edition, to Remix edition, and to the SvelteKit edition. And yeah, I need to fix some things, like for example here it's complaining because on the what was it, the price model, it's basically, no, the price model is using the decimal object, and it cannot pass down objects, I think, because decimal is not actually a number. But if I change it to number, now my TypeScript will complain, because on the repository pattern that I implemented for Prisma and Drizzle, it will expect this decimal object. You can see now the expected type comes from property price, which is declared here, should be of decimal, like here. Type decimal is not assignable to type number. And this is actually just a Prisma error. You can see that this is an open issue. Well, it says closed. So I guess I should read this and see how it's fixed. So yeah, I will work on the SvelteKit edition. Pre-order if you were interested in this. And remember, this will not guarantee success. You need to put in the hours, or you need to be pretty much really lucky to find a great idea, a great execution, and a great time to market, and pretty much many factors to align together to be successful. Or just keep trying until it works. And that model works for me. But yeah, I don't recommend that to everyone in the world, because it's pretty much a hustling thing that you should be privileged enough, like me, to be able to do that. But I know that when I start to have my first kit, I may not be betting on multiple things, and maybe I should focus on one thing and bet my 100% on that. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. Thanks for watching.